Hey guys, it's Mitch. How's it going? We're back for another page of Blood Force issue 4. This is page. I have it listed in one spot as page 16 and another as page 12. I guess it'll sort itself out eventually. But this is another one of the Clerg pages featuring the Clerg captain and his subordinates, all kind of dealing with the fact that there's a crazy ass human loose on their ship. So just before we get into it, if you enjoyed the channel, if you feel like you might want to help out a little bit, go subscribe to my Patreon. Links are in the description, gives you early access to everything I do. Helps out the channel, helps to buy new comics. All right, so yeah, this is all the same scene as the sequence we saw before. At least it is in the script. I'm planning on maybe breaking it up from bit to bit, not giving you 4 to 5 straight pages of Clerg sitting in a dark room with lots of beepy lights, just kind of mulling, you know. And we're going to start off strong with probably the strongest shot on this page, with the kind of glory shot of the Clerg captain here, and I managed to get it like as right as I've gotten it so far. This is as good a shot as I've been able to get of one of these guys. From, like, not straight on, not profile, a little bit of got a smudge there. Get rid of that eventually. There we go. So like a bit of a 3/4 angle, so there's a bit of perspective to take into account, and then a whole bunch of rendering. And yeah, the Clerg are good for the rendering. that's like, there's so much of the live streams are dedicated to rendering Clerg. It's fun though, man. Like, as a guy who grew up on Gerhard comics, just sitting there, hatching things is like, oh yes, this is the life. And trying to keep in mind, I think, that he's being lit from the front, so a little bit darker as you get further away, like towards the back of his head. And I think I managed to maintain it mostly. And yeah, that's probably one of the best shots of the Clerg that I've done so far. I'm pleased with that one. We got a couple of decent ones on this page. It seems like I'm getting a better handle on the Clerg from page to page, so that's good. It's particularly good because I believe the next issue is going to be largely the Clerg moving around their ship, like the captain and his second in command, like issuing orders, and it's Alien, right? Only instead of Alien, it's Popo. I gotta think there's like the odd person clicking on this video who doesn't know who Popo is. And just like, the Popo are coming for them? Yes, the Popo are coming for them. But yeah, that's the plan. So I'm hoping I've got my rendering down pat for that one. I'm planning to put the black and white alert in that issue. But I'm thinking, because I want to vary it, I don't want to make the whole issue. The black and white alert is based off of the alternate cover for this issue, the variant that I've already finished of Popo, done in the Frank Miller Sin City style. So and that came out really well, like better than I thought it would. And it's like, I got to keep trying this style. So it's like, maybe it's a black and white comic. Maybe I can get away with a black and white alert instead of red alert, right? And why would Aliens go with a red alert anyway? Everybody's going to use the same color scheme? No. These guys use black and white. They use a strobe effect to disorient people. Potentially their own crew, but it keeps them on their toes, or I don't know, fucking something. I'll come up with something. But you get like scenes with the Clerg captain and the second in command. I'm talking through this entire panel. This panel was a bitch. But scenes of the Clerg captain and the second in command on the bridge, lit like this, reasonably. I'll probably have to come up with, if a sizable amount of the comic is centered on the bridge, I'm going to have to come up with a definitive design, which I really haven't done to this point. I've just been kind of dancing around it, knowing that there's going to be a lot of dialogue in this sequence, so knowing that the details of like the geography of the room, not particularly important. But yeah, if I'm centering large portions of the next issue in this room, I'm going to want to put in some more detail, I think. Oh shit, I should talk about this panel instead of what I was talking about just now. Just close up on the eye. But it's a fun one. Oh, now we're not talking about that anymore. Now we are. But yes, okay. The plan is ADD's fun. Sequences in the Clerg command center are all lit properly, like this. There are definite light sources. There's a definite geography, as I said, for the next issue. Look at all that rendering. That's gorgeous. Scenes in the halls, because we're going to have to do quick cuts from the command center to the halls, where Clerg are running around. They're trying to find Popo. Popo is, taking them out easily because he's Popo. And, or just he's creeping through tunnels. He's, all that kind of stuff. Every once in a while, the Clerg captain and the subordinate, like once or twice, are going to try and leave the command center to try and escape or get to a different part of the ship, something like that. And then again, we get the black and white alert, and it ups the tension, theoretically. I don't know, it's different. So it changes your emotional state. That's what I'm planning on anyway. I'm very fired up for this. Anyway, looking forward to that, giving it a shot. Haven't written a script yet. Not looking forward to that. I haven't done that in like 6 months, I don't think, written a script. I'm sure I remember how to do it, though. But these panels here, again, pretty good. I like the rendering that I'm doing on these. Good job, Mitch. Just a whole lot of gray, making these pages completely impossible to color if I ever decide to go that way. It's important. And I get the Clerg captain with his minimalist outfit. Seemed reasonably good at the time. I think I was in more Liefeld parody mode when I first designed him. It's like, yeah, no, he's got like a Colossus arm, and he's got these 3 like plasm lights on his outfit. That's kind of how I think of them. I'm not sure if I was thinking them that way at the time, but now that I've done a plasm review, I am. And that's kind of it, really. He's got his mantis legs and his dragon head, and sometimes he wears a cape, sometimes he does not. That's a Clerg captain, or that's this Clerg captain. I've talked before about as the Clerg are a race that cannibalizes the technology of other races that they've conquered. They take over other kinds of ships. So potentially, each ship has the possibility of having a different vibe altogether. So this one's more militaristic and Liefeldy. Next one, Pirates of the Caribbean, I think. Something like that. There is a vague loyalty to the geography that I've set up on previous pages. It's just that I leave out that first establishing shot panel that I put in there basically so that I wouldn't have the problem of losing the geography, and then completely forgot about it. So that was pointless. It's a good looking panel at least. And again, I mean, in these kind of situations, you don't necessarily have to be slavishly loyal to the previous designs. You kind of just have to establish a setting. And then this was my hope, I think, when I first thought of this sequence, or when I first started drawing the sequence, was that I wouldn't have to draw every detail of the background. You get that first detailed establishing shot, and then you can focus on the characters and just kind of have the impression of the room behind them, and people will think back to that first establishing shot. This is what I'm hoping. And in the meantime, this page is almost done. That's another good panel of the Clerg. Get the captain drooling because he's losing control. That's what happens with the Clerg. Most of the time, they're able to control themselves, except for the Clerg's second in command. He's just a fucking mess. Everybody else, though, they're military discipline. That's the watchword. And this is the reaction shot that I left for last because I figured it was going to be a little bit tough. It was, but probably not as tough as the one above it. So, potentially well done, me, for not doing the hardest panel last, which I often do. Trying to do it in something resembling a sequence. But this is... the captain is just finding out what kind of shape his ship is in. And as he finds, which is bad, he's got, like I said, a crazy-ass human running amok, blowing shit up. And as he's advised of that and saying that couldn't possibly be the case, something nearby blows up. Because naturally, right? And I did some decent shadowing on these, trying to backlight them with the explosion. Get the big dramatic bakoom for the sound effect. Sound effects are something I'm still struggling to remember to put in from page to page. But I feel like we're making a little bit of progress. And yeah, I think we're actually just about done. Yeah, so those guys look all right. Oh yeah, the rest of this video is basically just going to be me lettering, I think. Try to do something a little creative with the smoke kind of billowing in front of the bakoom. So yeah, okay, black a bit more out to get the impression, just to like finish the page. So it's like, okay, I got very little of this page left to do. Yeah, so get the smoke billowing in front of it, kind of try to render the smoke, then realize I've got a bit too much black going on, so I'm going to have to put some white out over that. And leave the impression of the lettering behind the smoke. Like I said, I like that. It's a bit creative. There's the whiteout. And the last guy here who is a little bit tossed off. But he's the last guy. That's his prerogative. Color that in. Do I color in around him? I do. And some lights. Oh, did the lights make it? They did. Okay. So anyway, this is what the finished page is going to look like with all of the dialogue. As you can see, a lot of what I was drawing got covered up. I figured I'd just show this one just because this is one of the, as I said, the dialogue slash exposition pages. So this is how these go. I think I did a reasonable job of leaving room for the dialogue balloons, at least, which I don't always remember to do. And as you know, as the artist and the letterer, and I mean I letter way after the art, I tend to forget. And I'm always kind of trying to just leave a gap or two. The penciler thinks you don't need much room to letter. The letterer disagrees. The letterer thinks you need minimal detail in the art. You can just have guys standing in a corner. You know, like a long shot. Make it a wide. Get a whole bunch of very minimal detail in the background, and then cover that shit up with lettering. That's a solid plan right there. Anyway, that's the finished page. That's a damn good page, I think. It's one of the more solid pages of the Clerg in their command center. There's a couple here and there. I'm trying to think back. Actually, you know what? Most of them are pretty good. Yeah. The Clerg kind of came into their own a little bit in this issue, at least. They're fun to draw. The sequences get to be irritating and repetitive for me, but you got to take that up with the writer, who seems to be nowhere to be found when I'm drawing. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications so you know when the next one's coming out. Go over and subscribe on my Patreon. Gives you early access to everything I do, from the Blood Force stuff to the YouTube videos before they get uploaded to YouTube, as well as some Patreon exclusive content. You can also follow me on Instagram and DM me there for commissions, and you can join the Blood Force Discord server. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.